This is one of the handiest and most valuable things ever made for a kayak. I am Will Mack and this is Wilderness Calling. Today I am installing an Anchor Wizard on my brand new Perception Pescador 12. If you are unfamiliar with an Anchor Wizard, I'm gonna show you exactly how it works on my old kayak and show you why it's so important that I have one on my new kayak. This is my Ascend 12T. This is my old kayak. It is not pedal drive. I had to paddle everywhere. That also means I didn't have a ton of control over where I was in the water. I couldn't just pedal forward and pedal backward. So if I wanted to stay in one spot, then I had to use my Anchor Wizard. Here it is right next to my seat, so I could simply reach the lever and crank my anchor down or up. It's simply genius engineering. All you have to do is loosen the crank and your anchor deploys. There's about 40 feet of line on the spool of the Anchor Wizard, so you can anchor in really deep water. All it takes for pulling the anchor back up is tightening the lever. It's brilliant, I know. Kudos to the guy who figured that thing out. There are a number of reasons why I'd still want to anchor in my pedal drive. Maybe you're on a grass flat and you want to chuck and wind for a while. Maybe you want to cast from a standing position and you want to hit some cover for about a dozen casts. Maybe you simply want to tie up. Maybe you simply want to take a break, eat lunch. There's a lot of reasons to want to anchor, and that's why I'm going to add an Anchor Wizard to my pedal drive kayak. There are 3 considerations to take in when you're mounting your Anchor Wizard that you really need to put some thought into before you start drilling or anchoring anything into your kayak. Number 1, the location of the crank. Is it going to be easy for you to get to? Number 2, how is the cable going to run? How do you need to lay it against the side of your kayak? What things do you need the cable to go around? The 3rd consideration is how the anchor sleeve is going to mount to the rear of your kayak. I figure out where the crank goes first. To do that, go ahead and sit in your kayak. There are gear track mounts if you want to put your Anchor Wizard on a gear track. You can also attach it straight to the hull, which is exactly what I'm going to do. After placing my crank exactly where I want it, I use the silver marker to mark out where I'm going to drill my pilot holes. I'm going to use an 1/8 inch drill bit and 4 mounting screws. After careful consideration, I am going to use 5 screws to mount my Anchor Wizard. You just can't be too secure. As always, silicone the holes. The next step is probably the most difficult, and that is mounting the anchor sleeve. In a paddle kayak, it's much easier because you can just hang the anchor right off the back. Because this is a pedal kayak, it has a moving rudder, so the anchor cannot affect the movement of the rudder at all. To help with this problem, Anchor Wizard has come up with yet another ingenious solution. This is the Anchor Wizard triangle mount. It's a 1/4 inch thick aluminum triangle piece that you can mount on the back so that the anchor sleeve hangs in a way that it won't interfere with the rudder. What I've done is mounted the anchor sleeve to the mounting triangle. I have used 2 bolts, which are a little bit different, but you use what you've got to get the job done. This handle was also installed right here by the factory, and that was going to get in the way of the anchor triangle, so I did have to take it out. These triangles can be mounted on a gear track, so I played with the idea of installing a gear track right here, but I do think that it's going to be far more secure if I bolt it to the hull. I do have hull access here in the back, so it's going to be really easy for me to put lock washers on the opposite side of the through bolts that I install in the top part of the hull. I'm also going to use one of the factory holes that was installed for the original handle. I recessed the mounting triangle pretty far onto the hull of my boat, and that's because I feel like the more contact I can have between the plate and the hull, the greater stability for my Anchor Wizard. It's time to put the anchor inside the sleeve and then attach the cable. This is the D-ring that comes with the Anchor Wizard. I use a Palomar knot to attach the cable to the D-ring. Pull it tight, that knot is not going anywhere. Building an anchor takes a little bit of know-how as well. This is a 3-pound claw anchor. The hole in the bottom of the anchor is so that you can attach a shackle and then lengths of chain. And that just gives the anchor a little bit extra weight so it falls straight down to the bottom. Then there's chain at the top, and that is so the anchor lays down and then catches on the bottom. Let's feed the anchor through the sleeve and then attach the D-ring. The last thing to do is install pad eyes along the desired path of the cable. My pad eyes are installed. I've got one right here so the pulling force comes as straight as possible out the back of the sleeve. I've got one right here directing the cable around my rod, and then I've got one right here just to secure the cable coming off of the Anchor Wizard. I've got one thing left to do, and that's see if it works. When I disengage the wizard, the anchor should fall straight down. Bang, bang. And now let's pull it up and see how tough it is. As you can see, I have just enough clearance for my hand, and boom, the anchor's back up. Whether you are pedaling or paddling, the Anchor Wizard is a tool that will enhance your time on the water, and it's not that hard to put in. I hope you got something out of this video. So smash like, and until next time, install an Anchor Wizard. It'll make it better when you're out there chucking and winding, baby. Peace.